Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're talking about the travels of Zulqarnain. In today's lecture, we'll talk about that after he was done with Yajuj and Majuj, in Durul Manthur, Imam Suyuti rahimahullah talks about another expedition of Zulqarnain. This time he ran across an ummah that is an ummah of pious people. And these people are extremely just. These people are extremely helpful towards each other. They're all living at the same social level. There's no distinction between them. And they don't even fight with each other. And surprisingly, there is no leader among them. There is no judge. There is no rich. There is no king. And they don't even have any kind of dispute among each other. They don't even badmouth each other. They don't even use foul language. They don't fight. They never fought wars. They don't get struck by famine. They live a long life. They didn't have any poor people among them. And nobody among them was ill-mannered. And each and every one of them, right outside the door of their house, had some graves. Zulqarnain, when looked at these people, he found them extremely amazing. He never ran across these kind of people. So he asked them, "Can you please tell me that among all my expeditions, I never ran across anybody that is like you? And I have seen what no man has seen. I've seen the light and I've seen the darkness, but I've never found anybody like. Please tell me about this whole setup. And what surprises me the most is graves that are right at the entrance of your house. What is the mystery behind that?" They said, "Let us tell you by first telling you about these graves. Whenever we are entering our houses or whenever we leave our houses, whenever we look at these graves, it reminds us of death, that one day we all have to die. That way, our hearts are never hardened. We are always in remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As a result, we keep ourselves away from sins. We keep ourselves away from not fulfilling the rights of other people. So since we fulfill each other's rights, we are nice to each other, everything else follows this trend of the graves at the entrance of our houses." He said, Zulqarnain said, that everything makes sense, but how is it possible that I do not see any governor, any king, any judge? How is it possible that you could be ruled without a central body? And they said, because we don't fight. We're not unjust towards each other. We don't have any disputes. We do not gather the worldly things. As a result, we don't fight and we do not need anybody as a result of that to clear our disputes. Zulqarnain said, well, it's a human nature that humans wants to excel, want to get ahead of others. So don't you guys have any such feelings? They said, well, we want to excel and we do have the feeling of excel, but it is not in the same direction that you are familiar with. Rather, we excel by making sure that I do more good deeds. I am more helpful to the other beings. That is the direction in which we excel. So we don't fight. Rather, all of us are of the viewpoint that we need to do more and more good deeds. As a result, the entire society is full of love for each other, and we don't have any hatred. We don't fight with each other. There are no wars. And as a result of all of these things, we don't lie to each other. We don't cheat each other. We don't backbite each other. Zulqarnain said, okay, then how is it that I do not see anybody among you who is poor? They said, because whatever we receive, we distribute it equally among ourselves. So everybody gets to have the same things. And Zulqarnain said, okay, so why is it that I do not find any of you who is ill-mannered, mad, angry? They said, because we all practice humility and humbleness. Zulqarnain then asked, okay, then why is it that I have come to know that you guys live for a very long time? What is the secret behind your ages? They said, because we are not unjust. And then Zulqarnain asked, why is it you get never struck by famine? They said, because we are always doing istighfar. And when a person does istighfar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always send His mercy on those people. Zulqarnain said, okay, then why is it that you do not get his hit by calamities of life? They said, because we are always ready to face the calamities of life and we are not greedy. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has protected us from all tests. And on top of that, we never rely on anybody but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful to us. So Zulqarnain said, okay, then tell me about your forefathers. They said, our forefathers had beautiful attributes. They were extremely kind and gentle towards the poor people. If anybody would do any harm to them, they will always forgive them. Anybody who will be unjust towards them, they will not be unjust towards that individual. Rather, will be more generous. Anybody who would show ignorance towards them, they will show humbleness and humility towards that person. Anybody who would call them with bad names, they would say istighfar on that person's behalf. And they would always be nice and just. People would keep their amana with them and they would always guard them. And they will always guard their prayers. They will always fulfill their oaths and promises. They will always take care of their relatives. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took care of their affairs, because they took care of the affairs of the others. Zulqarnain said, if I had to stop and discontinue my journey, these were the people I would have stopped among, because these are the best people that I have ever found during my travel. Then Zulqarnain rahimahullah continued his journey, and that journey that I will talk to you in the next episode is reported by Imam ibn Abi Hatim and Abu Shaykh, by Abu Ja'far Muhammad bin Ali ibn al-Husayn ibn Ali bin Abi Talib, and it is also reported by Imam as-Suyuti rahimahullah that when Zulqarnain met his friends from the angels, and the name of the angel was Zarafil. What was the communication that happened between the two, and where Zulqarnain headed next? All of that and more, but in the next episode. Till next time, take care of yourself. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.